have GoRout with us. Our friend Drew is just going to talk a little about his product and what it has to bring and why we love it so much. So to start, Drew, can you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about GoRout?
Sure. I'm Drew Robinson. I'm the Chief Partnerships Officer here at GoRout. Spent 12 years in Division I college football. I joined the GoRout team in January 2025 and really, joined the company because I was a GoRout user myself. Back in 2017, when I was at Western Michigan University, we actually purchased the GoRout Scout Team system and very quickly was enamored with the product. Very quickly, really was excited about the solution and, the kind of problems it solved for us. And it was something we were able to kind of visualize and see every day. And really kind of see how it really put its kind of imprint on our program and kind of made us more efficient. With GoRout, we've expanded quite a bit over the last 5 years into both another football product, which is GoRout Gridiron, which is our newly approved UIL by the UIL in-game wearable communication system, as well as GoRout Diamond, which is our baseball and softball product that's being used by over 1,900 teams nationally to date. So again, exciting times here at GoRout. Basically, in a nutshell, what we do is we, the front door, the front facing part of our products is, our coach to player communications, right? One-way coach to player communication via wearables, whether that's a belt pack display or a smartwatch. We have quickly become the largest provider of coach to player communications from a wearable standpoint in the country. But really at our heart and at our core as a business, we're all about making coaches more efficient. And whether that's in-game, in practice, or anytime, we're all about making coaches more efficient. And it's very easy for us to kind of live that because all of our staff at GoRout are all former coaches. So again, we're really kind of well aware of the challenges coaches face on a day-to-day standpoint.
Yeah, and that's directly what y'all want to do. So how do y'all see that impact the team performance? You're helping out the coaches, but how do you see it help team performance, their communication and efficiency?
Yeah, I think if you ask any coach out there, they'll say communication is key. And again, that's, the cool thing about our products is that's either communication in practice with our Scout Team product or communication in game with our Gridiron product. And again, it's one of those things where streamlined communication is so important. And, coaches' biggest fears is, did, my players get that call? Did they get that signal? And, really what our in-game system is now going to solve is the fact that you're not going to have to worry about whether, all 11 players on the field got the correct signal from the sideline. You're going to have the confidence in knowing by pressing one button, they're going to get a vibration on their wrist and see that next play or see those adjustments and things like that. So that's what really is going to separate ourselves in the in-game environment. In the practice environment in football, our Scout Team product's incredible because basically what we created is a flashcard for your scout teams, if you will. So instead of having to create wristbands or create a binder where coaches have to then spend time coaching a card and wasting time really in practice by coaching a card, now after every play they can press a button and boom, the Scout Team players get that card right around their waist. So again, you're eliminating the huddle time, you're eliminating that coaching a card time, and you're really just maximizing your time and getting more reps. So what we've seen, over the course of the 10 years we've been in existence on the Scout Team side of things, and again, I lived it for myself for 3 seasons, is not only are you going to get more reps because you're eliminating inefficient and dead time, but your reps are going to be that much better because now those Scout Team players are seeing that card rather than just seeing it around their waist, I should say, until the snap of the ball, rather than just seeing it for, maybe 10, 15 seconds, while being 10 yards away, while coach is yelling at them to go faster. We've eliminated kind of the anxiety of that part of Scout Teams. And we're really excited about transferring that over to the in-game scenario where, again, we're going to give coaches the peace of mind of knowing that they can make adjustments up until the snap of the ball with one click of a button.
Wow, that's awesome. That sounds really cool and definitely speeds up the process a bunch.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so with all that, how do y'all see y'all already evolved so much in the past couple of years? How do y'all see yourself evolving in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, we're really excited about UIL down in Texas allowing this kind of wearable technology in games in football. They're the first to approve that kind of wearable technology. And We see this as an awesome opportunity for us, both from a business side of things, clearly, but really from a kind of case study standpoint and hearing from coaches. We're the only system on the market right now that can take feedback from coaches and just continue to improve our system. That's based on how our technology is built. It's app based, just like all the apps on your phone. So again, just like the apps on your phone, we can push updates when needed. So the cool thing that coaches that choose GoRout are going to experience that. Again, we're already working with close to 200 schools down there on the practice side of things. They continuously see upgrades and improvements. And that's something that we're excited to carry into our Gridiron product, because this first year of use is going to provide us with such great feedback to continue to make this and tailor the product towards something that coaches really want. Which again, we always lean back on the fact that we're former coaches, and we want to always develop a product that coaches can fit into their current workflows, and they don't have to change things they're doing to implement our technology. We kind of take the opposite. We want to listen and hear how coaches do things and see if there's a way that we can kind of make their lives easier via our technology, which again, I think is a little bit different than maybe how most technology companies work. But again, that goes back to our background as former coaches ourselves.
Awesome. Wow. So even just like UIL in Texas, like, do you see like any other states like been able to like trying to implement this or anything yet?
Yeah, we know there's a lot of states and a lot of organizations, I'll say, that have a lot of eyes on Texas for this fall. We have caught wind that there are some other states that have been kicking around this idea for this season. I don't know how realistic that is, just based on timelines and things like that. But again, I think Texas is just such an awesome opportunity for really everybody, because again, when you start talking about levels of football, Texas is right up there with colleges, right? So again, that's where we're excited to have this opportunity. We think, we feel very strongly that, this will lead into some kind of implementation at the college level, at the NCAA level. We've worked very closely with the NCAA over the last 2.5 years, as well as all the conferences, the FBS conferences and all the different levels of NCAA football, as well as the National Junior College Association and the NAIA. And there's a lot of eyeballs on this kind of implementation, because again, our model is a bit different than what coaches are used to. Coaches are used to seeing, how they do it on football on Sundays with the one speaker and the helmet, and or in FBS football, one speaker and one helmet on either side of the ball, where our smartwatch technology allows you to put this on as many players as you want. Which again, when you start talking about communication is key, again, why does that have to be just one player? Why couldn't that be to all your players? Again, with the simple click of a button, which is where Texas and UIL just has so much credit to them for having so much foresight into, being the first to kind of expand and be it really at the forefront of this kind of technology evolution.
Yeah, absolutely. What's like the best way for some like a coach watching this video right now to reach out to y'all?
Yeah, I mean, the simplest way is just go to GoRout.com, www.GoRout.com. Again, you'll find, we spend a lot of time trying to answer questions ahead of time, right? We, as I mentioned earlier, we're an efficiency company at our heart, right? So even our website, we try to answer, the most common questions coaches have. We provide a lot of visuals so coaches can really see how our systems come together. And right at the bottom of every page, there's a quick, 3-step form that coaches can fill out that will then get connected to me so that I can answer any additional questions they have and point them in the right direction, share some experiences that I've had, and point them in the right direction to make an educated decision at that point.
Oh, that's awesome. So last question, actually, wrapping this up. So for programs thinking about investing into this product, like what is one thing that is going to make GoRout like stand out and help make that decision?
I'm going to give you 2 quick things. So the first thing is we're the only system on the market that's ever been used for an entire NCAA season. So this past fall, the D3 Liberty League in New York State, 7 teams in the Liberty League followed an experimentation with the NCAA to allow this sort of wearable technology in their league for the 2024 season. And that went off without a hitch for us. We have incredible amount of data that we got out of that. I think it was something like 60,000 plays were sent, via our system during that experimentation across the entire league. We've actually just, this is exciting. We've actually just crossed 10 million play calls sent via our baseball and softball product, which
Wow.
the really cool thing is our baseball softball watches and the network that they use is the same one that Texas football will be experiencing this fall. Same devices, same network. And again, we have over 1,900 teams and 10 million play calls being sent. So from a reliability standpoint, the proof is in the data at that point. So I think number one, the fact that we've been used in football for an entire season before is such a differentiator for us. Because again, I know there are other products on the market that are solid products, but again, they just don't have the experience of having surveyed coaches every Sunday during the season to get feedback like we did. And not to mention the customer service part of that, right? So, having questions asked and feedback provided to us across that season was invaluable. And I would be hesitant to go with a company that hasn't had that experience. It's just me personally, putting my coaching hat back on. The second differentiator, if you will, that makes us different is our network, right? So again, the other systems on the market are all radio based, and the radio based thing is tried and true, right? It's been around forever. That's how coaches' headsets operate and things like that. But there are new evolving technologies, and cellular is a big one, and that's what we run off of. And case in point, the NFL uses cellular networks for their coach-to-coach, for their headset communications. They've moved from radio to cellular. And that's where we're excited to be at the forefront. And really what that means, for coaches in Texas especially, is there are 0 distance restrictions. So the UIL has made the rule where, the coaches have to send the calls from the press box. With GoRout, you're never going to have to worry about whether or not you're too far away from those player devices. Because our cellular network, I could be up here in New Jersey sending calls to coaches in Texas and they'll come through instantly. Whereas the other radio systems are always going to have, I think it's 180 or 270 yards of range. You're just never going to have that fear with GoRout. And again, that's all built on how we've built the system. We're the only ones doing it with the cellular-based system. And again, that's just something that's going to give coaches that peace of mind that this a very similar, technology to what they're using in the NFL is what GoRout is built on.
Wow. Yeah. What is that saying? Like proof is in the pudding?
Yeah. We have a tremendous amount of data from the season that we did, in the NCAA. And again, that's where we're just different. We always wanted to do that kind of experimentation before we went to market in a state like Texas, because again, we wanted to use that feedback to just make the product even better by the time it did have widespread implementation. And we were able to accomplish that. We were the only company on the market that was able to accomplish that.
Wow. Yeah. This sounds great, y'all. Well, thanks, Drew, for today. This is very learned a lot in this, and hopefully coaches are reaching out to you after this, and we can get y'all's name out there. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lexi.